In the sun-soaked streets of Panama City Beach, Florida, where tourists flock for endless parties and golden sands, a darkness lurked beneath the surface during the 1980s and early 1990s. Young women vanished without a trace, their laughter silenced forever by a predator who blended into the crowd like a ghost. This is the terrifying true story of Mark Riebe, a man convicted of one brutal murder who shocked the world by confessing to kidnapping and slaughtering up to 13 innocent women, only to cruelly retract every word, leaving families shattered and investigators haunted. Was he a remorseless serial killer taunting his captors from behind bars? Or a twisted liar craving attention in the depths of hell? Tonight we dive into the abyss of his crimes, starting with the nightmare that exposed him. Imagine a warm August night in 1989. Donna Callahan, a 29-year-old pregnant mother with a toddler at home, was working the late shift at a quiet convenience store in Pensacola. She was kind, hardworking, dreaming of a better life for her unborn child. Little did she know two monsters were watching her. Mark Riebe and his half-brother, William Alex Wells, pulled up in a van. They weren't there for gas or snacks. They were hunting. Donna stepped outside for a break, and in a blur of violence they grabbed her. She fought desperately, screaming into the night, but the isolated lot swallowed her cries. They bound her, threw her into the vehicle, and drove into the shadowy woods. What happened next was pure evil. Riebe later admitted in graphic, ice-cold detail that they strangled her pregnant body convulsing as life drained away. They dumped her remains in a remote ditch, like trash, covering her with dirt and leaves. For years her family searched. Posters plastered everywhere, prayers whispered in vain. Donna's toddler grew up without a mother, her unborn baby stolen forever. But this wasn't Riebe's first kill. Detectives believe the terror began much earlier. Flashback to the spring break chaos of 1986. Jacqueline Brandt, just 18 years old, had traveled from Illinois to Panama City Beach for fun in the sun with friends. She was vibrant, full of life, her whole future ahead. One night she vanished from a crowded beach party. Months later, hunters stumbled upon her skeletal remains in a dense, forgotten woodland. Strangulation marks on her neck told a horrifying tale. No arrests, no justice. Until Riebe started talking, locked away after Donna's murder finally caught up with him in 1998. Thanks to his own brother turning informant, to save his skin, Riebe cracked. Just months into his life sentence, he called investigators in. Tape rolling, voice calm as death, he confessed to Jacqueline's abduction. He described luring her away from the lights, the struggle as she realized the horror, the way he wrapped his hands around her throat until her eyes went blank. Details only the killer could know. The exact spot in the woods, the clothes she wore, the fear in her final moments, chilling, undeniable. And Jacqueline was just one piece of the puzzle. Riebe's confessions painted a portrait of a sadistic hunter prowling Florida's Gulf Coast for over a decade. He targeted vulnerable women, hitchhikers, partygoers, mothers alone at night. He'd charm them, then unleash hell. Strangulation was his signature, a slow, intimate kill that let him watch the light fade from their eyes. He claimed he felt nothing. No remorse, just power. But why confess? Riebe said he was coerced, fed details by a shady agent promising protection for his son. Lies, detectives snarled. He was playing games, reveling in the pain he caused families all over again. One victim, Bonnie Gail Rither, 27, disappeared in 1978 under eerie circumstances. Riebe knew things about her case that chilled police to the bone. As the confessions piled up, 12 more beyond Donna, panic spread. Was this man Florida's hidden Ted Bundy? Bodies never found. Families clinging to hope turned to agony. Then, in a twist straight from a horror film, Riebe retracted everything. "I made it up," he sneered. "Innocent, the tapes, fabrications, the details, lucky guesses or police plants." But no one believed him. Not the cops who'd chased shadows for years, not the family staring at empty graves, and certainly not Piers Morgan, who would later confront this monster face to face in a maximum security hellhole, taunting him until Riebe stormed out in rage. By 1998, Mark Riebe was already rotting in Florida, state prison for life, convicted of kidnapping and murdering. Donna Callahan, everyone thought the nightmare was over. They were wrong. That summer, Riebe started talking, and he wouldn't shut up. 13 women, 13 names, 13 slow, personal strangulations, across the Florida panhandle from 1978 to 1993. He gave locations, clothing, exact ways they begged. Details so vivid detectives had to stop the tape to vomit. Victim: 3 Pamela Albertson, 21. Last seen leaving a Panama City beach nightclub in 1990. Riebe said he offered her a ride, drove her to a dirt road near West Bay, and strangled her with her own belt while she clawed at his forearms. Her body was found exactly where he said, under a pile of pine logs, belt still knotted around what was left of her neck. Victim number 5, Rhonda Taylor, 23, disappeared from a Tiger truck stop in 1992. Riebe described her purple scrunchie, the way she smoked menthol cigarettes while waiting for a ride. He said he kept that scrunchie in his glove box for months because it still smelled like her fear. Investigators found the scrunchie years later, exactly where he hid it. Victim number 7, Tara Calico lookalike Cynthia Hios, 19, vanished during spring break 89. Riebe laughed on tape. She trusted me because I looked like the boy next door. He strangled her on the beach at 3 a.m., dragged her body into the dunes, buried her shallow so the tide would take her. Divers still search those waters today. Then came the most stomach-churning confession of all. The one the cops still can't play in public. He called her the pregnant one who fought hardest, not Donna Callahan, another woman nobody even knew was missing. 8 months pregnant. Grabbed from a laundromat parking lot, Riebe said he and his brother took turns holding her down while she screamed for her baby. He claimed he felt the unborn child kick while he squeezed her throat. All no name, no body ever found. Just a ghost that still screams in the ears of every detective who heard that tape hour after hour. Riebe sat in that gray interrogation room drinking Coke, smiling like he was telling fishing stories. He ranked the kills. He described the exact moment their eyes went dead. He even drew maps. Maps that led to bones. Families who had given up hope suddenly got phone calls. "We think we found your daughter," because a monster finally told us where to dig, and then, just when prosecutors were preparing the biggest death penalty case in Florida history, Riebe stood up in court and screamed, "It was all lies. I made every word up for attention." He recanted everything, claimed. Cops fed him details, claimed a secret agent promised to protect his son if he confessed, claimed he was the real victim. The courtroom erupted. Mothers collapsed sobbing. Because here's the sick truth nobody wants to admit. Some of the bodies were found exactly where he said they'd be, years before he ever confessed. So was he lying then, or lying now? 2017. Black Dolphin Unit, Florida State Prison. Maximum security. Death row wing. Piers Morgan walks in with 1 camera, 1 table, and 0 fear. Across from him sits Mark Riebe, orange jumpsuit, shaved head, eyes like black ice. He agreed to the interview because he thought he could play the famous British host like everyone else. He was wrong. Piers doesn't waste time on small talk. Piers, you strangled 13 women with your own mouth, described how their eyes bulged, how they wet themselves in terror. Then you stood in court and said it was all a big joke. So which is it, Mark? Are you a serial killer, or just a pathetic liar who gets off on torturing mothers who will never bury their daughters? Riebe smirks, tries the poor me routine, claims the police beat him, claims an FBI agent promised his son protection, claims he's the real victim. Piers slides crime scene photos across the table, one by one. Jacqueline Brandt's skull in the leaves, Pamela Albertson's belt still around her neck bones, the purple scrunchie. Riebe's smirk dies. Piers leans in. You kept that scrunchie because it smelled like her fear. Your words, not mine. So tell me, Mark, when you strangled that 8-month pregnant woman and felt her baby kick, did that turn you on the most? The room goes dead silent. You can hear Riebe's breathing turn animal. He tries to laugh it off. Voice cracks. Piers keeps pushing, harder, colder. Piers, look at me. Say their names. Say them like you said them on those tapes when you were bragging. Riebe's hands start shaking. Veins popping. He suddenly screams, I want this interview over. Get me out of here. Guards rush in. Riebe stands up so fast the bolted table moves. His face is purple with rage, the same color he described his victims turning. Piers ice calm. There it is. The real Mark Riebe. Not the fake innocent act. The monster just showed his face. Riebe is dragged out kicking and cursing, screaming he'll sue everyone. The camera catches his final look back, pure hatred. The second the door slams, Piers turns to the lens and says the line that still gives detectives chills. That man is guilty as sin, and he's enjoying every second that those mothers don't have closure. After the interview aired, Riebe filed 8 complaints. All denied. He now refuses all media forever. But here's what Piers didn't say on TV. 3 weeks after the interview, Riebe sent a handwritten letter to Piers Morgan from his cell. 8 words written in tiny, perfect letters. You'll meet them soon. They're waiting for you. No signature. Just a crude drawing of a purple scrunchie. Mark Riebe will die in that cage. No appeals left. No parole. Just a 6x9 cell and the ghosts he created. But here's what keeps detectives awake in 2025. There are 2 murders he has never confessed to on tape. 2 names he whispers only to his cell walls when the lights go out. Victim number 1 they call the Spring Break Angel. March 17, 1991, Panama City Beach. A 19-year-old British tourist named Sarah Goodwin, name changed to protect the family who still begs for her body. Last seen walking alone on the beach at 4 a.m., barefoot laughing, heading toward the pier lights. Her friends woke up, she was simply gone. No body, no clothes, no trace. Until 2023, when a cold case team found a single polaroid in Riebe's old storage unit, seized decades ago but forgotten in evidence archives. The photo shows a terrified teenage girl with long blonde hair, bound with duct tape, eyes wide, gagged with her own bikini top. On the white border, written in blue ink, St. Patrick's Day Angel, mine forever. Handwriting confirmed 100% Riebe. Victim number 2 is the one that broke the lead investigator. August 2001, 4 years after Riebe was locked away for life, a 24-year-old prison nurse named Melissa Carter disappeared from the staff parking lot of Florida State Prison itself. Security cameras glitched for exactly 7 minutes. Her car was found running, door open, radio still playing. Her body has never been found. Prison insiders whisper the impossible. Riebe had a devoted fan on the outside, a female corrections officer who smuggled him letters, gifts, and maybe more. Some believe she helped him finish what he started. One final kill to prove he could still reach out from the grave. In 2024, that ex-officer was found dead in her trailer. Official ruling overdose. But the autopsy showed ligature marks identical to Riebe's signature. Strangulation pattern. Her last visitor? Riebe's half-brother, William Wells, the same man who helped murder Donna Callahan. Riebe now spends his days drawing perfect portraits of missing women he's never been charged with. He tapes them above his bunk like trophies. Guards say at night he talks to them, calls them by pet names, tells them soon. One detective who visited him last month left the prison shaking. Riebe leaned into the glass, smiled, and said, "Tell Piers Morgan the girls say hello. Tell him I've added 2 more to the collection since we last spoke. One of them even worked here." Then he winked and asked for a purple scrunchie from the prison commissary. Mark Riebe is 63 years old. He will die behind those walls. But the families know the truth. The monster never stopped. He just moved the hunting ground inside with him. And somewhere out there, in the dunes, in the pines, under the floorboards of abandoned trailers, the last 2 angels are still waiting for someone to find them before he takes the secret to hell with a smile.